To this end, we are to this end, we are also quite aware that one university is not enough, but many universities must be established in the future. The wealth of our heritage. The establishment of our own university is an effective aid in combining modern education with our noble traditions. Accordingly, it is our earnest desire that this university shall jealously guard the wealth of our heritage and pass it on to the succeeding generation with all its richness and glory as reflected in modern education. We say this with the understanding that any foreign training not assessed in the light of one's long-standing traditions, it's a determinal to the well-being of the individual and the country, and in no way useful. We are confident, therefore, that this university will produce useful citizens by inculcating these views in the minds of its students. University training entails deep research and intensive studies. Any research should be related to the requirements and conditions of our country. We are very optimistic that there are many historically valuable things to be discovered. The students of this university are particularly lucky to be of school age at this particular time, and it is our hope that of school age at this particular time. It was our hope that you will avail yourselves of this exceptional opportunity and contribute to the knowledge of your country and country in particular, and that the mankind in general, by revealing the hidden great historic lore. Our university therefore has also a special contribution to make in this field. Academic freedom. One of the fundamental principles which the establishment of a university brings forth is the idea of academic freedom. Academic freedom, if used for the sole purpose of acquiring true knowledge, is undoubtedly the very foundation of the pillars of education, and it is universally and it is universally recognized that it has been jealously guarded by all the institutions of higher learning. An honest and persistent quest for truth is essential to the attainment of higher learning. In the past, both in our country and in the rest of the world, it has always been vital to lay down success prerequisites for intellectual achievements in order to produce philosophers, scientists, writers, and men of academic prominence in other fields. These prerequisites have also been the source of law and order. We have also clearly guarded this particular right of academic freedom by clearly stating in all the charters issued and the establishment of our various colleges. But what we want you to understand very clearly is that academic freedom, if used for any other aim then that for which it is designed will defeat its own purpose and be harmful rather than useful. Academic freedom, unless it conforms to the common good of the society in which it is expected to be exercised, is meaningless. Academic freedom affords a base for higher studies, and the aim of higher studies is to serve the society which is waiting for the leadership of the educated elite. Academic freedom that does not reflect this aim has lost its very foundation, for it is no more than an instrument for the protection of that particular right, dedicated to the true quest for knowledge that is useful for the society. Academic freedom on application should be tested always against the true end of satisfying the interest of the society. As a proof, if copied and fully applied in other, there would be a divergence, because the purpose and aims which it is expected to fulfill can never be identical, as the interests of the people of no two countries completely coincided. Apart from this, the interests of each country also vary in the time and circumstance. An additional reason why academic freedom is held in high esteem and respect is that it makes possible for humans being to improve their ideas and improve their standards of living. For without academic freedom, human life would remain hopelessly stagnant. However, to use this freedom, which is given for such noble purposes, to divide a people struggling to improve its life and thus make vain all its effort, cannot possibly be considered as a valid exercise of academic freedom. In some other countries too, this is the precise manner to which academic freedom is practiced. Such attitude is in the fact to undermine the wide application of academic freedom itself. Parental agreement on education. One of the important contributions we are dedicated to bequeath to our beloved people is education. When we first launched our programming of educational expansion, it was necessary to struggle against the interests of parents in sending their children to school. But now, the people understanding the benefits of the programming which we have been intent to prosecute for their own betterments, are not only cooperating in sending their children to school upon their own initiative, but many have expressed their desire to share the great burden of educational expenditure, which has fallen solely on the government treasury until today, some by cash contribution and some by building schools. This has very appropriately proven to us that the Ethiopian people, as in time of crisis, are still behind us and cooperating even in all our administrative efforts. This has given us an encouragement and further determination to dedicate ourselves for the people to the extent that we feel it is for their lasting welfare. Hence, we have decided to further expand education with the help of a limited number of educated people, we have been able to reach the present point of progress. Encouraged by the continued service of this devoted cadre who have served us faithfully, we shall embark upon an intended educational programming. Within a single generation, we have seen parents who had to be cajoled to send their children to school become so convinced of the value of education that today those who have the means are assisting us in bearing the financial burden of education, and many of those who are unable to do likewise continue to stop us on our way to request that their children be given places in the schoolhouse. This is highly gratifying and is a source of encouragement for us to extend our efforts in education. We shall endeavor to work for the betterment of our people by applying funds from our private purse, utilizing simultaneously whatever assistance Ethiopia can receive from friendly governments. Cornerstones Arts Building. Man cannot live by bread alone. Man, after all, is also composed of intellect and soul. Education develops the intellect, and the intellect distinguishes man from other creatures. It is education that enables man to harness nature and utilize the resources for the well-being and improvement of his life. The key for the betterment and completeness of modern living is education. But man cannot live by bread alone. Man, after all, is also composed of intellect and soul. Therefore, education in general, and higher education in particular, must aim to provide beyond the physical food for the intellect and soul. That education which ignores man's intrinsic nature and neglects his intellect and reasoning power cannot be considered true education. A well-organized education should not be one which prepares students for a good remuneration alone. It should be one that can help and guide them towards acquiring clear thinking, a fruitful mind, and a elevated spirit. The educated person that Ethiopia and countries of her levels need is not one who had stuffed bites of knowledge into his mind. The needed educated individual is one who uses the ideas he obtained from his lectures, books, and discussions to be the best advantage of his own country and his own people. It is he who disseminates new ideas in harmony with the economic and social aspects of his own community, so that fruitful results would be realized. This is the educated person who can show segments of knowledge he accumulated in his learning, in inventiveness in a new situation. Ethiopia is a country with her own cultures and mores. These are cultures and customs more than being the legacy of our historical past and characteristics of our Ethiopianness. We do not want our lieges. We don't want our lieges and traditions to be lost. Our wish and desire is that education develop, enrich, and modify them. You all know the continuous effort that Ethiopia is exerting from the development of a profound and high standard education. We need educated and trained persons for research, for the study and development of our country's resources, for technology, for medicine, for the law and administration for our people according to their custom. These are the needs that contain us to provide at all levels education free of charge, and students ever mindful of this privilege should endeavor to recompense their country and nation. The opportunity of education afforded to the few in our country is not given to them for a fashion or a mold. It is given for a purpose, for a task, for high responsibility, for full and enhancing use for the benefit of our country and the coming generation. We have just explained to you the type of result and responsibility that we expect from you students. It is on you, the members of the faculty, that we must apply for this result. We realize the heavy responsibility we have entrusted to you. We hope that you too, while believing and accepting your responsibilities as your scarce duties, as your sacred duties, will produce for Ethiopian persons who take pride in you and their education and are ready for the call of service. It is you who must mold the minds of your students that they may be wise, farsighted, intelligent, profound in their thinking, devoted to their country and government, and fruitful in their work. It is you who must serve as the example. On their part also, they will have to learn not only formal education but also self-discipline that should be worthy to be inherited. May the Almighty God be with you in the fulfillment of your duties. Awards, law, certificates. We are indeed pleased to congratulate this class who have today received certificates in law from the university, and to the teachers who have made your accomplishment possible by planning, organizing, and carrying out this pioneer project. You may rightly take great pride in your accomplishments, just as we do. The administration of justice in the modern state demands well-trained, qualified persons at every level. The introduction of the codes and the revised Constitution of Ethiopia, as well as the legislation continuously coming from Parliament and the government, has dramatically changed Ethiopia's legal system. The law of the empire is now modern, complex, and scientific in the sense that it has been prepared by experts after carefully study. The administration of the law of the empire increases increasingly demands highly trained persons. In the real sense, the development of the nation depends upon the development of our legal institutions. The proper administration of justice requires a research for truth. Therefore, the judicial function requires highly selected men. Judges shall be chosen from among those who study law and who sacrifice their personal interests to their duties. An advocate. An advocate who discharges his duty honestly is a judge. So the need for the persons trained in law is obvious. Thus, we are pleased to learn that others are following hard upon the footsteps of this class. We are pleased to know that soon the number of Ethiopian lawyers holding a university degree in the law will be virtually doubled. We are especially pleased to see that so many judges and other civil servants and advocates are taking time to continue their education taking their education even as they continue to perform their regular daily duties. Education is an ongoing task. The obligation to improve oneself does not cease simply because the one has a regular job. This is certainly true for those who work in the administration of law and in legal counseling. We improve continuously their professional capacities through further study. Members of this graduating class, by sacrificing your time, you have advanced yourselves and the nation. We are confident that the qualification you have earned today will be recognized within the legal profession. We believe it should. We believe too that the professional attainment to be achieved by other students now studying law and other programs of the law school must be recognized. Ethiopia needs a modern legal profession just as she needs the modern legal system she is building. The one cannot exist without the other. All of you who are taking university training in law are helping the task of building a profession. We congratulate you. We congratulate this class. Take pride in what you have done by serving with continuing zeal and loyalty of the law of our empire. Fifth graduation exercise of HSIU. The mere existence of a fund of knowledge is not enough unless knowledge is not nurtured and nourished by devoted teachers and eager students alike. It will, like a pool of water following the rains, change its hue and slowly disappear. It gives us great satisfaction today at the end of the academic year to observe the number of students who have successfully passed this university's requirements and who are assembled here today to take part in this commencement ceremony. This is our rewarding and long-awaiting occasion for each of you as it is for us personally, and we congratulate each one who will today receive his diploma for our hands. Although you have reached this high landmark in your academic training, your education is not complete. There is no ending to learning. During your years of study, we hope that you have come to understand and appreciate the significance and the importance of education, educational institutions, and the university in particular. We hope that you have come to realize that this university today, what is role in the life of the nation is in 1966, and what is potential for the future. For us, the importance of this university, indeed of any institution of higher education, is fourfold. First, it provides the institution framework wherein ancient and tested and proven knowledge can be passed on to the present and the future generations. Lacking such a framework, neither a country nor an educational system can bequeath and transmit profound knowledge and posterity, prosperity. In this same fashion, the existence of Giz and Amharic have enabled Ethiopia to preserve and pass to later generations the civilization and culture of her ancient people. Second is the discovery and development of new knowledge through research. A university which does not expand the frontiers of learning through research can only be short-lived. Third, it is the discharge. Of the obligation to teach others, which the very creation of such an institution implies and embodies. This is the supreme function. The creation of institution framework alone does not guarantee that teaching will be effective, nor does the growth of learning within the university walls by itself ensure that knowledge will be spread and diffused. The mere existence of a fund of knowledge is not enough unless knowledge is nurtured and nourished by devoted teachers and eager students alike. It will, like a pool of water following the rains, change its hue and slowly disappear. Practical aspect emphasized. And since a university is established and maintained through the will and support of a people and a government, we may consider lastly the use to be made of the knowledge which has acquired or developed and which is now transmitting to others. Clearly, this knowledge must be devoted to the fulfillment of the needs and desires of those to whom the university owes its being. A university which is unconcerned with the practical impact of the work on the people and the nation, which limits its horizons to the theoretical and the abstract, and its activities to the library and the laboratory, cannot long expect to enjoy the support of the people and the nation. It is our most earnest wish that this university meet all of these requirements so that the full force of the promise which it holds out to the future of our beloved country may be well and generous and gloriously realized. You graduates who who have had, through your years of service to the nation, the opportunity to see at first hand the impact of your education upon your country, and to observe the first hand of the nation's needs, are in better position to understand and evaluate the extent of which this is today being accomplished. This is the essential purpose of the National Service Programming, the development within each of one of you of the inner sense of service to the nation. Only through dedication and sacrifice can only truly help and benefit his country. Although the pressure imposed by the need for training more teachers is still felt, we note with great satisfaction that the number of Ethiopian teachers has increased in the 5 years of the university existence. In order to attain self sufficiency, we must give priority to overcoming this shortage. We cannot depend always on others. The discipline is not above his master. We urge you, the teachers who have a close acquaintance with the conditions of your country, to use your education for conducting valuable research directed towards the elevation of the problems of your country. Teach, learn, and thereby extend increasingly the frontiers of your knowledge. Some of you graduates of the class of 1966 were unable to pursue full-time university education. Despite this, you devote your spare time to your studies, determined that there should not be constitute a serious impediment in your work. You have been found worthy, and you in particular deserve congratulations. The ranks must be fulfilled. Today our eyes and our hopes are on all you graduates. We hope that the seeds of learning which you have received will, in the service which you render, ripened into an abundant harvest. We assume the obligation to foster and expand education in the nation, both as a solemn duty, because the nation can flourish and grow only as the ranks of the teachers and students are expanded and filled as a matter of free will, because man would prefer to speak on his nation in terms of his educated men and women rather than being recounting the size of its population. Those of you who have not yet completed your studies look forward to with hopes and impatience to the day when you too will attain this honor. To you we give the message of St. Paul, who looks back, having once put his hand on the plow. These words remind us, as well as the need for more universities, for more teachers, more schools, more students, and more work. They commit us even more fully to the search for the outer limits of the frontiers of learning. Until these have been achieved, no one can enjoy peace of mind. Dynasmin coupled with the consistentious concern for the well-being of the nation are the necessary qualities of the youthful mind. You have had a better educational opportunity than many. Evaluate your ideas, separate the good in them from the bad. Your hands once put the plow was put to the plow. Do not look back. Education molds human elements in the man. It develops from abstinence to manhood. Let usefulness be your hallmark today, not abstinence. Once again, we congratulate you all, and we thank Almighty God that you have proven yourself deserving of this occasion.